Master the art of shutting down rudeness. Join Robert Downey Jr. and Russell Brand's communication masterclass, nonverbal cues, indirect warnings, and the power of the call-out, all in one. Exit rude encounters like a boss. Elevate your social game now. The power of nonverbal cues in social interactions. Are you dealing with a rude person on the spot? It's like walking on eggshells in a verbal minefield. Let's face it, most of us hate getting into confrontations. It's like trying to juggle flaming swords minus the circus cheers. When rudeness hits, we often freeze, not wanting to be the bad guy. But here's the real kicker: staying silent leaves us feeling as defeated as a sad balloon at a party no one attended. We've all been there, right? That moment when a rude comment or eye roll leaves you speechless and your clever comebacks are lost in the Bermuda Triangle of your mind, right next to forgotten algebra formulas. So what's the deal? Well, step 1 in handling it is all about using nonverbal cues. Take a cue from Robert when faced with a tricky question. He doesn't verbally express discomfort but uses signals to show he's had enough. It's a smart move to keep things respectful and comfortable. Mastering these nonverbal tricks is critical for creating a more excellent and positive vibe.
I'd really like to ask you about a quote you gave to the New York Times. And I don't want to pry, so if you don't want to talk about it, that's fine. But what you said to the New York Times once was, it was after your incarceration.
Starting with nonverbal signals is like the ninja move of communication, subtle and intelligent. It's all about avoiding unnecessary drama and not jumping to conclusions. We've all been there. Facing rudeness feels like choking down a bitter pill. We're scared to rock the boat but regret not saying anything. We crave peace, but sometimes you have to fight for it. And here's the real deal: standing up to rudeness doesn't make you a troublemaker, it makes you a defender of your dignity. So, no more letting those rude comments slide. Get those clever comebacks ready, channel your inner word ninja, and let them know you won't be anyone's verbal punching bag. It's time to take a stand.
Fantastic.
Yeah. That is a very kind compliment. You also look beautiful.
The art of indirect warning shots. Telling someone, "I'm surprised you feel comfortable saying that," is like dropping a mic on a rude comment, short, sweet, and shutting it down. It's like holding up a mirror to their audacity, making them rethink what they just said. This line isn't about getting angry. It's a subtle shock that leaves the rude person exposed and defensive. It's a classy way of saying, "Hey, that's not cool," without the drama. Now we bring in the indirect warning shot in step 2, a fancy way of saying, "Let's be chill about this." It's like dropping a hint instead of going all out in a confrontation. Picture it as a gentle nudge to maintain respect while still getting your point across. This move is all about keeping the peace without cranking up the tension. Smooth communication for the win.
Itself, doesn't it? I mean, does that mean you're not a liberal, or that you came out of prison not being a liberal?
Are we promoting a movie?
Indirect warnings are subtle but hard to miss, and they give the benefit of the doubt that the other person might be unaware rather than intentionally rude. The key is to avoid attacking them and instead express yourself without assuming any malicious intent. Take a cue from Robert Downey Jr., who uses questions to convey his discomfort subtly. Similarly, in the MSNBC interview, Russell Brand describes behaviors he likes and dislikes without directly accusing anyone. This indirect approach addresses the issue without making the other person defensive, fostering a more understanding and constructive conversation.
The thing I enjoy most is stand-up comedy because you're direct with your audience. You can't be misinterpreted, people can't get confused. You know what happens if you work in media? People like to change the information so that it suits a particular agenda.
In these examples, you can notice the use of both negative and positive reinforcement, and the same approach can be applied in your own life. Responses like "that's an odd question" subtly convey disapproval, serving as a negative reinforcer. Conversely, expressing appreciation, such as saying "I really appreciate when," works as a positive reinforcer. Combining these approaches lets you indirectly alert people to be more considerate while giving them a chance to save face at the moment. This technique proves handy in various situations, as it helps navigate conflicts without creating unnecessary tension. The power of the call-out. By this stage, most situations are typically resolved, but for those rare exceptions, the third step comes into play: the call-out. Subtlety takes a backseat as confrontation becomes necessary. The call-out is straightforward and clear. When someone continues with unacceptable behavior despite earlier warnings, it's time to address the issue head-on. This step involves speaking up without mincing words, making it clear that the behavior is unacceptable. While the call-out is a more assertive approach, it remains a tool of last resort, reserved for cases where all else fails. When you're calling someone out, it's crucial not to lose your cool and explode. Oddly enough, the more matter-of-fact you are, the more impactful the call-out becomes. Keeping it simple and calm is critical. Just describe the unacceptable behavior and then straightforwardly tell them it's rude, much like Russell Brand does. Staying composed and stating the facts makes your point more effective without escalating the situation. This approach addresses the issue directly and assertively while maintaining a level-headed demeanor.
It's not listening to him, it's experience. It's just sort of taking it all in.
You're talking about me as if I'm not here and as if I'm an extraterrestrial. You know I'm from a country...
While the call-out may seem like a moment of absolute confidence and social power, it's crucial not to rush into it hastily. Jumping straight to the call-out without going through the nonverbal and indirect steps might lead to misunderstandings. You may have misheard or misunderstood someone, which is why the earlier steps are so handy. Assuming you've followed all the previous steps and find yourself in a situation where an apology is not forthcoming, the call-out becomes necessary. This step serves as a last resort, emphasizing the importance of a gradual approach in handling conflicts to avoid unnecessary misunderstandings. The art of exiting unhealthy situations. This step is like shouting, "I'm worth more." It's a reminder that keeping your self-respect is vital. Sometimes that means stepping away from mistreatment. If you let people treat you poorly, they might think it's a green light to keep doing it. So, calmly and decisively walking away is like setting a boundary, no emotional abuse allowed. Sure, it's not always doable, but minimizing your time around them could be the game changer in a big office where you're not tied to that person. Now, to dodge rude vibes, hit them with kindness, then walk away. If that's not an option, try gray rocking. It's like being as unresponsive as possible. Think avoiding eye contact or keeping a poker face in the conversation. Show them you're not here for their rude games. A notable example is Downey Jr. This choice to step away becomes a powerful tool in reclaiming control over your well-being and setting boundaries.
Bye.
Are you? Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, you're right.
Of course, you'd prefer the walkout to be a rare outcome, which is why it's important to remember to invite de-escalation of the situation at every step. Robert did this. He was smiling, offering other conversation topics, and at least some answers to questions that he felt were inappropriate.
Are we promoting a movie? To me, the thing is that I'm certainly not going to backpedal on anything I've said, but I wouldn't say I'm a Republican or a liberal or a Democrat.
You don't have to confront rude people. Your space is meant for positive vibes. This isn't just about you personally. Negativity can hold back groups and stop everyone from doing their best. By learning how to handle conflicts and stay positive, you're setting the stage for better interactions. So, use these tricks, and here's to surrounding yourself with good energy and respect. Okay, that's all for today's video. If you like this video, click the like and the bell buttons. We'll have another video for you soon. Take care until then.